Swag, as you are fond of saying, real talk, and I'm looking for some here as it relates to Dallas. It's still early enough to say you can't punt on a season, but what has to happen?
Well, they ain't winning nothing, Scott, but let's have a conversation about what they should do going forward. One, you do have depth at quarterback because we've seen Cooper Rush play. The problem is you're not surrounded by the same type of guys when we saw him win 5 or 6 games when he stepped in for Dak. But here's what Dallas is the rest of the way. They're in evaluation mode. They evaluating this football team and this roster to figure out going into next year who are going to be the guys that we're going to hang our head on and say they need to be a part of this organization. Who are some guys that people are going to call about trades because the season is not going the right way? And what decisions are we going to make financially to either restructure, redo, try to find cap space in order to build a football team? Jerry has been talking about, I didn't expect this team to be this bad. I understand that from a base level.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, right? But when you look at the game, you realize that they from day one didn't put the right team on the field in order to accomplish what people think that Dallas is supposed to accomplish every year, unbeknownst to me. But this is an evaluation mode. Who's going to continue to play? Who is a part of your future? Who can you depend on when you think that you're going to get back to being a really good football team? Mike McCarthy is my guy. Son and daughter went to the same school. This is last year, bro. It ain't no salvaging this. Mike Zimmer will be gone as the defensive coordinator at the end of the season. This is a complete redo, and it's something that they should start now. Looking for coaches, players, and trying to identify players that they're going to take into the future in order to make themselves a really good football team moving forward.
When you talked about what they're not up front, Jason, this is a team that I think I said, look, they're 31st in rushing, and you're like, yeah, but let's look at the guys standing in front of those guys. Not the same team, are they?
No, they have not replaced a lot of the talent that they've had in the past. And up front, offensively, they still have Zach Martin, but that offensive line looks way different than the line that I played for a long time. And some of the young guys, they got a young kid at left tackle who's getting his first starts, and it just hasn't gelled and been the same line that they've had in the past. Defensively, the Parsons injury, they're not very good interior-wise. When I think of Zimmer defenses, I think of great linebacker play. They signed Eric Kendricks, and they hope that fixes it. They were weak in that position last year, but that was really the only solve that they had. It feels like it's an organization that really relied on some of these young guys to pan out and play at a high level, and it just hasn't manifested in that way.
I mean, it's tough because your top-end guys aren't playing extremely well either. Your quarterback, who we all understand you need to surround with the right type of supporting cast, he's not lifting their level of play. CeeDee Lamb is truly the only go-to guy or person you can count on from a skill player standpoint, and you can't run the football. Jason's already told you about what's going on up front, but you also don't have a runner that scares me. I'm not scared of a guy that's going to rip off yardage after contact. I'm not scared of a guy that if you give him a crease, he can turn a small run into a huge one. And so defensively, you get to pin your ears back each and every snap. And now when you get the ball on the offensive side of the football and you're facing the Dallas Cowboys, you know one thing and one thing for sure. We can run it until we don't want to run the football anymore. And that's when you start. And when you don't have that sort of physicality that you need up front on either side of the football, it's extremely difficult to win games.
Here's what's baffling to me is that I heard smart people like all of you guys this offseason throughout the summer talk about this Dallas team that was standing pat, and you were baffled by that. This shouldn't be surprising to people. They knew what they had and didn't have. It might be surprising that the record's bad.
That's the thing.
Then what are we doing?
Jerry not lying to y'all. Jerry actually thought this. He thought this team would be good. He really did. And that's the thing that you have to disseminate when we having conversations and we looking at it and saying, no, this is not it. He thought they were good enough. And look, we've had conversation ad nauseum about Jerry's decision-making in free agency, trade deadline. We can have those conversations. I'm hoping that this is a pivot moment for this organization.
Whoa!
Alley-oop. Go ahead.
My man, that they can usher in. Sometimes it take this, though. Sometimes it take you getting your head beat in to realize, like, we going about this wrong.